In 2010, our Virginia and North Carolina crops endured tremendous drought and heat stress. Bragging rights were scarce as corn lacked essential rainfall needed for optimal kernel set and ear fill. However, improvements in soil quality management such as no-till farming, along with vastly improved drought-tolerant seed genetics, helped to blunt runaway economic losses on many farms. We have heard from many growers whose Seed Consultants hybrids responded with yields above their expectations. Let's look at the yield response of Seed Consultants hybrids under drought conditions.
It's endured a brutal summer to date. This being the end of August, I think we've had right at 50 days above 90 degrees, and it's just been brutal on a corn crop. I mean, it went with no rain there the middle of the end of June, and it stood during those 90-degree days, and it stressed tremendously. But this little hybrid, it held its own in that situation, and it's got tremendous heat stress. We did some tests this year and put out some new varieties, and we found out some of them could not take the heat. We found out some of them could, this being one of the ones that could. Hindsight's 20/20. If I could go back and change everything, I wish my whole farm was planted in this variety, planted on this day. Rex, corn this good's exception rather than the rule this year, isn't it?
Yes, it is, very much so. We've been fortunate to have some timely rains, and very well pleased with the corn crop this year. At least, you know, my expectations are this field probably make somewhere at least 160, hopefully about 180 bushel. But you know, looking at kernel counts and everything, it certainly indicates it could be that much. And I'd like to see a couple more rains just to finish it on out. But a lot more fortunate than most people in the county this year.
First year we've ever grown this variety. Looked good from the very start. We've had sufficient rain, not too much. We had a couple dry spells late May, late June, but this never suffered. It looked good all the way.
In 2010, Advanced Agra Service and Seed Consultants initiated our most intensive on-farm testing program ever for our sales area of Virginia and North Carolina. We're expanding our production and sales efforts with new hybrids that represent the leading edge of progress in seed corn genetics for the Southeast. As we look ahead to 2011, we carry with us lessons learned from 2010. Of the new genetic lines tested in the punishing heat and drought of 2010, SC11 AGT30 proved its toughness to optimize grain yields under stress. Additionally, Supreme EX11HR70 proved to be a silage champion to be reckoned with. These hybrids will lead our strongest lineup ever for Virginia and North Carolina corn growers. Now let's go to the field with Dale Armstrong to check the performance of these powerful genetic lines.
Well, we had a good start of the year. A lot better than a lot of surrounding areas, but then we, of course, like everybody else, we got pretty dry, and this corn, it didn't look pretty bad for quite a while. I really didn't think it was going to make too much, but then we were lucky enough to get a little rain, and it hadn't turned out half bad. And you know, it's our first year planting 11 HR70, and had high hopes for it, and it's done well for the year we've had. And I'm just hopefully we can try it again and have a really nice season and see what the full potential of this corn is. But overall, it's turned out real nice.
Well, with the dry weather you've had, it's been put through quite a test this year, hasn't it, Josh?
Oh yeah, if it would turn out anything this year, as dry as we've been, I think if you had a regular season, it would be tremendous corn.
We've had just enough rain this year. Some of our neighbors hadn't had quite as much. Some of our neighbors hadn't had any, but still, it takes some genetics to get ears like that consistently through the field like we've got in this field.
1200 did well for us in North Carolina this year, in spite of the terrible dry weather that we had down there. And so we like how it looks here. You know, it's showing us the top end of its potential here today. Tremendous peak yield potential in this full season variety.
Well, when we consider it to older things that we used to sell, like 1197, 1186, this thing is truly 15-20 bushel better than those genetics. Maybe not all the time, maybe not in every field, but when we start looking at averages, I mean, those things aren't even in the same league with 1200.
The 1200 was 120-day corn, I think. I mean, I planted it first, and you know, it got dry right there when it really needed the moisture. But that was the thing. I mean, it came around and eared up. So I'm impressed with it. The 1145 has been proven now for what, 2-3 years.
Right.
And it's comparable right with the rest of them.
Right in my area, we had a little better season than some around, but we had planted the 1139, and it did very well. We averaged 150 bushels per acre with that. I feel like it did help pull through some of the dry times better than some of the other varieties that I saw around. We got as good a stand as we ever had this year. The seed size was large, and it came out of the ground good. It was very even as far as the height coming out of the ground, and it was by far the best stand of corn I ever had.
Locally adapted varieties and the latest technology, a powerful combination for your farm. In 2010, Advance Agra customers saw their Seed Consultants hybrids produce leading yields for silage and grain production.
What really stood out to us this year was the 1170 and the 1138. It was two varieties that really stood out well. We ended up chopping a bunch of the 1170, probably 150 acres of 1170, which we're feeding now. We've got some analysis back on it. We were about 3,380 pounds of milk per acre for the 1170, which was so far has been some of our highest milk per acre that we've sampled. Digestibility looked really good. NEL on it was right at 0.8, so it's a real good stuff. The ADF on it tested about 22, 23, which was a little low, but the season had a lot to do with that. And it on paper the stuff almost looks like high moisture shell corn. It's really good. We've had to cut back on the amount of corn we're feeding by about 2 pounds a cow a day. So when corn's $5.50 a bushel, that makes a big difference in your monthly cash flow.
But it did suffer some. You know, we seen it rolled up there for about 2 weeks through the middle part of the summer, and it got some rain right when it was starting to pollinate, and it put on an ear. You know, I've hand checked it several different places, and I'm getting anywhere from 200 to 240 bushels. We are gonna harvest this field for silage, but you know, it's a world of grain in this piece of ground, and you know, I've been impressed with the 11 HQ38, and certainly it's just, you get in the right situation, there's nothing going to outdo it.
I've been pleased with Seed Consultants seed corn. I think the value that they offer is good. The price of the corn, what kind of corn they have to offer. We've been following digestibility for a good number of years. That's a big criteria for me, and I think they're right up in the mix with that. And I'm pleased with the corn, all around good corn. So I've been happy with it. Plan to buy more.
Our customers have grown to expect industry-leading corn varieties that are correctly positioned for their production goals. For 2011, we're offering a wide range of Supreme EX soybean varieties with that same commitment to service and performance. Maturity ratings will range from 3.6 to 5.3 with both Roundup Ready and conventional herbicide tolerance. A few growers tried our soybeans on a pilot basis in 2010. Let's go to the farm to check the results.
Planted a 4.7 group, and we had good results with that. We did an official yield test of 3 acres that measured 57 bushels per acre, and that was pretty consistent through the whole field. We were running 55 to 60 through the whole field.
You used conventional 5388 Seed Consultants soybeans last year.
That's right.
And so tell me about those. What kind of results did you see with the soybeans?
I had a few fields that by volume they yielded over 60 bushel, and I won't say they all did that. Most of them was in the 40 to 60, and I was real impressed. I mean, beans as a whole this year were 10 bushel more across the board than I thought they would yield in this area. But I really didn't look for about 45 bushel, and they turned out 60 couple actually.
Our customers and dealers are the heart of our seed business. We take it very seriously when you commit corn acreage to Seed Consultant Seed. It's teaming with forward-thinking corn growers like you that makes the idea of moving yields forward a reality. We look forward to working with you on your 2011 crop.